I'm going to open up the Northwood Board of Selectmen's meeting. It's January 24th. First thing I'm going to do is roll call. Rick Wolf.
Here.
DJ Hodgie.
Here.
Scott Bryan here. First thing we're going to do is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there anybody here for a public forum? Any public comments? Seeing none, I'll go to our first appointment. Recycling Committee. If the members of the committee would like to come up to the table, they may.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
I just want to give you the microphone. I want to hear everything you have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Our being here tonight grew out of our last meeting where we put together a presentation to give the Board of Selectmen a possible future for the transfer station. And there are two questions that we're looking to be answered tonight. And those questions are, at what level does the town of Northwood want to recycle? And the other question is, at what level is the town of Northwood willing to fund a community recycling center? So those are the two questions that we feel that we need an answer to in order to move forward in any shape or form. Because recycling is a continuum, and on one end is not recycling at all, closing everything at the transfer station down, just having a compactor and throwing everything into the compactor, and it all goes to the landfill. That's on one end of the continuum. And on the other is the perfect state-of-the-art, best-in-the-nation recycling center where everything is recycled and there's very, very little going into the compactor. And we realize that both ends of those continuums are not possible. Federal regulations and people's values today would not let us stay on the one end of the spectrum and throw everything into the landfill. And on the other end of the spectrum, a small town like ourselves is not going to have the funds to be able to build the kind of recycling and to get everybody involved to recycle every piece of thing that we could. So we feel that we're somewhere in the middle. And one of the questions that we're asking you tonight, at what level does the town of Northwood want to recycle, and how much money are you willing to put into that, is going to move us from somewhere here, either to the left or to the right, one or the other. And it has nothing to do with political, it has nothing to do with politics, left or right. It's physical left or right on the screen. There are elephants in the room, and we've talked about these a number of times, and that's it. What level do we want to recycle? That if we want to make money recycling, we need to bundle. In a town our size, bundling into tractor-trailer loads is going to be very difficult to do. But we've talked with other towns, and we believe that cooperating with other towns, we can fill a tractor-trailer load and get top dollar for our recyclables. But that means perfect separation. That means bundling everything together and getting them out in tractor-trailer load. So we need to work out those logistics.
Bless you.
God bless you. The third is the building. Is this a building for the highway department, and we need to build another recycling building? Is this a recycling building, and we need to build a highway building? This building has sat here for over 10 years and would need to have some renovations to it to even use it today as a recycling building. So that building and its use is a big elephant in the room for us. The fourth elephant is not having data. These are not real numbers. These are just a graphic to point out the fact that we don't have these numbers, but these are numbers that we really would need to have. And the problem in the town, as in any town, it's not just ours, but the problem is we can't use the general ledger as a data gatherer for the kinds of statistics that we need to have. They're just incompatible, and we need to create a system that collects the kind of data that we need to understand what recycling is doing and in directions it's going, and are we being successful, are we not being successful. And the last elephant in the room is that we were told emphatically by the Board of Selectmen representative to the Recycling Committee that we needed to run the transfer station like a business, and we totally agree. We agree that we need to run it like a business. We just haven't come to a definition of what that means yet. So that's still an elephant in the room. We all agree that is the direction that we need to go, but what does running it like a business mean? So this is the transfer station from Google Maps, and you can see that it's rather large. And so the options that we have is either to take the current building and renovate that building to today's needs, not over a decade ago needs, creating some kind of storage facility where we could store the bundles. Or that would also require some paving to create a traffic flow around that building. There isn't traffic flow there now. We'd have to create that, and we'd most likely create that with asphalt. Or we could take the current transfer station where the compactors and stuff are and put a building there. So we could leave the building that's there now, that's the recycling / highway department building. We could leave that there and renovate it for the highway department. And we could build where we bring our cars now and park our cars when we bring stuff to the transfer station. We could have put a building somewhere in that facility. The thing that is neat about putting a new building there is that when we talked with representatives from Lee, the back of their building is higher than the ground. So it steps down out of the back of their building, so that makes the logistics of getting stuff out of the building much easier. And that would automatically be up on a hill and automatically have a step down. We'd have that area to do that. So these are two possibilities. Stay in place, take the recycling building as it was built over a decade ago, refurbish it, get it ready for recycling today, or to build a new building. So those are two directions that we could go in. Of course, that also would have to have a traffic flow, not quite as impactful as the first one, because there's already traffic flow there. Right? We would also need to have some kind of keep stuff out of the weather building, so that all of the stuff that we're storing, getting ready to bundle or bundled and getting ready to ship out is out of the weather. Right? The transfer station has many facts and many misunderstood facts about it. And everybody has an opinion about what is recycled, what's not recycled, what we're supposed to do there, what's not supposed to be done there. And what we're trying to do is that if you look behind all of those, there's truth. Okay, there's truth there, and what we're trying to do is to get behind that, and the two questions that are in the way are, how much do we want to recycle as a town, and how much money are we willing to put into getting that going? So our proposal is based on a foundation, and that foundation is that we want to decrease the size of the transfer station. We feel that the transfer station, as it is now, is too spread out for the amount of staff that we have to monitor the transfer station and the way people are recycling and where they're putting their recyclables to keep the product clean and get us top dollar. And so we feel the only way to do that is to decrease the size of the transfer station so that everything is right there within sight of the people who are actually manning the transfer station. Or add more staff. And I don't think that's going to fly with anybody in any kind of proposal. So what we're looking at is in 2017 to make a decision about the building. Renovate the current building or build a new building. Okay? Work on, as a recycling committee, we'd work on the current practices, we get the administrative metrics and a process to pick those up. We'd look at glass and how could we recycle glass rather than putting it in the earth as we're doing now. Getting plastics straightened out. We have numbers of plastic that are not supposed to be with ones and twos. You don't put sevens with ones and twos, it pollutes and contaminates the load. And so we would need to start to work towards those kinds of things. That's what we would do in 17. And also that we would start to look at the smaller scales to be able to add some fairness to the construction and other debris. And that in 2017 an agreement will be made and a warrant article would be created to do what we need to do. Renovate the current building or build a new building. Right? In 2018, in an aggressive plan, we'd build a new building. Okay, we'd work on more current practices around construction debris. How could we separate those out so we can recycle what we can recycle and get as least possible in the landfill as we possibly could. Look at the burn pit and how would we need to change that in order to keep that up to New Hampshire regulations, tires, batteries, and oil. And also to look at the swap shop, to build a new building for the swap shop if we decided to keep it, new guidelines to keep stuff out of there like car seats. Car seat over 3 years old really doesn't meet any regulation, shouldn't be in there because nobody should really be using it for safety, let alone, right? Right now, Joe is doing a fantastic job with the Facebook page, and he's gotten people who come in now and volunteer and clean. When they bring their recycles, they clean. And so we'd like to leverage those volunteers. That's something that Joe has tapped into and is working very nicely. And in phase 3, so 17, 18, 19, the building would be built. That would be the safe plan. We'd educate our neighbors about now how all things are changing, and how you'd come into the new building and where things are and how things. We'd leverage the partnership with surrounding community transfer stations, and also with increase our use of the NRA membership that we already have. So in summary, it looks like this, is that we make a decision about the building, we get we get a warrant article in 2018. Hopefully, we believe that warrant article would pass, which to build the building in late 18 or 19, and off we'd go with a different level of recycling, a higher level of recycling. But that all brings us back to the two questions. And two questions are, where on the continuum do you want to recycle? As we are now, more, less, a little more, a lot more, a little less, a lot less. What we've come up with is we're saying, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, we're a 5 right now. So which way do you want to move? Okay, that's an easier way for us to understand it, and perhaps also for you. And at what level would the town be willing to fund us to make this happen? $1,000 a year, $10,000 a year? Where in that could we have extra funds in order to do things? That's outside the warrant article. This is to build small buildings, to renovate the buildings, to get signage, to do some administrative things to make the transfer station work more smoothly and more efficiently and effectively, hopefully. So that's really our main presentation. How do I go back? Shoot, backwards. Up. Really came here for these two questions. So do you have any questions that we can answer?
Well, my question is kind of defeats the purpose if you're saying that we need to start unrecycling the 1 through 7s just so we can get 1s and 2s, and then you're just gonna throw the 3, 4s, 5s, and 6s into trash because they're not worth anything. When we're getting rid of them and recycling them now.
I said, what I believe I said was, if you put 7s in with 1s and 2s, you contaminate the 1s and 2s.
I understand, but what are you gonna do with all the rest of them when you start taking them out?
We need to figure that out.
Okay. So
I didn't
that's not in your
specify-
plan.
I didn't specify any answer. That's in our administrative plan for 2017, how we deal with plastics.
But the elephant in the room is you're still not gonna make money on that plastic. We're recycling it now and not making money. No matter what we do, you're gonna lose money.
So, he's trying to answer 2 questions. So, I think first off is there, and this is just discussion point, it's not really, I'm not looking for an answer, but I think that, we know that, the aluminum cans actually get a return, right?
60/40.
60/40,
Yeah. Plus we pay for the tipping, so we're actually losing money.
okay.
To be honest with you, I don't think anybody knows.
No, it's 60/40.
When the gate is half closed,
Huh?
We're making money in the cans.
Yeah, but it's
Not
like
much, because I
60/40.
saw a bill for
60/40.
$180.
Okay,
I know,
Unless
but
something's changed, it was 60/40 when I was there.
this is the problem.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody has an opinion, but nobody can bring
Well,
data.
there's bill
and
of
set it
ladings.
down.
It's pretty easy to
I think-
figure out, Jim. All you gotta do is look at the bill of ladings. It tells you what you're making, how many pounds, you add up the
Dan-
numbers and you figure it out.
DJ, all due respect, they're volunteers, they're.
I know, but he's making it sound like there's no numbers and that they're not there. They're
Well,
there.
Let's just have a discussion.
The recycling committee asked for the data 6 months ago.
Well, we can't get it to you.
Well, let's not get, so, I think we got 2 issues, and one of them, and my first question I'd like to ask, because you looked at this a little bit, a little background, is the town, there was a movement to do recycling, they built that recycling building, I wanna say, over 10 years.
12 to 13 years ago.
Okay, so they built that. And what happened, is that we built the recycling building, but I'm trying to remember, would they appropriate for that, 150 or? It was over 100, but I think it was like I wanna say it was about 125. So at the time we went to build that, the cost to actually build it, we could not build it to the actual size that was.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the town did not appropriate, town appropriated what we asked for, but because it was created by a study committee, similar. So we were a little short, we decided to go ahead, build the building, and just make the footprint smaller. But I do know the building has those,
We've been told by DES that it would work, by NRRA, that it would work exactly the way it is.
okay, so my question is, and goes back to like what the voters approved. The voters did not approve a highway garage. Like,
That was 2
granted
years ago that we tried to get that app, because they were gonna, they tried
I'm
to
just
get it.
giving a little bit, so that the voters asked for a recycling building. And what happened is that it never really, I think, I don't know,
That was pre-SB2, right?
it kinda, yeah. But with that being said, I think that the right thing to do would be to actually get the highway garage. Cause that was designed and built to be a recycling building. That's what the people voted on, that's what they got, and, I guess I can, be a little to blame because I've been on the board the whole time. But, so with that being said, I guess my question is, would it be more reasonable to, look at the cost to renovate that and then add the cost to like give an estimate of how much it would be? And I think with the highway garage, you're just looking for something to get the trucks out of the weather.
To your point to that, Scott, they did that 2 years ago. and it got, they tried to get a highway to garage for that same exact purpose, and it got voted down quite substantially.
Okay, and all that.
And then you're still looking at employees that have to go in front of the vote. We're not talking just a building. We can build the building again and not ask for everything that you need to actually run the building, so it will sit there empty again. Or we can ask for everything at once, at whatever the crazy number is, and watch it get shot down.
DJ's brings up a really good point, which we've talked about at the recycling committee as well. And as we if we put a warrant article out, we're gonna put a warrant article out that is all encompassing.
It'll get shut down.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Fine. But I don't think we, the members of the recycling committee today, do not believe that it is honest to our neighbors to put, we want you to renovate the building. And then come back and say, oh, by the way, you've renovated the building, now you gotta add a full-time person. We don't think that's fair. We feel that if we're gonna put a warrant article out, we're gonna put a warrant article out that says, we need to renovate the building, this is what we need to renovate the building, this is what it would look like. In order to staff that model, we would need to have 1, 2 people, I don't know, 0, 1, 2 people, whatever it is. So that we don't wanna come back and say, in the next year and say, oh, by the way, you did that, so now you gotta do this. And then the next year go, oh, you did those 2 things, so now you gotta do this third. We don't think that's fair or honest.
I agree with you, because it's like piling, it's like, you ask for something, it says, oh, we got what we want, but now we need this.
But that's basically what happened with the other building.
Yeah, actually.
Because what happened is.
Well,
is it got
somebody
shut,
said they
and then
wanted
they
to
said-
get volunteers.
then they said, Let's
and-
get a full-time person, and then that got shot down, and the town still got a full-time person anyways. Because the full-time person was gonna start doing all of this stuff. It got voted down at, actually, town meeting before it went SB2.
Originally, when we got stuck with a full-time person, the vote was announced backwards. The people voted not to have the full-time person, and the moderator announced the vote the opposite direction. That's how we got the full-time person to begin
But
with.
I
Yes,
guess
I-
the thing is we're not doing anything environmentally wrong now, is the big thing. We can, like Joe said at one of the meetings, maybe clip the low-hanging fruit, is that what you said?
That would be what I would suggest.
You know, maybe build a couple buildings to get the refrigerators out from underneath the weather or whatever. But I think whether you're gonna build the highway department a building or build us a building, I don't foresee the town voting that in. It's just my opinion.
Well,
Do you see how difficult these questions are? Because no matter, in our opinion, no matter which way you go, you can't go anywhere until you pack these 2 questions with answers. And our discussion already has gone away from these questions to all kinds of, we're in the solution mode.
well, everybody's making, we're making assumptions. We didn't put I mean, we're assuming that if we were to put this out, it would fail, which is likely. We don't know for sure, but it's very likely. There's also a third option.
Leave it alone.
Well, then that would be a 4th option. The third option is, it's an option, and I don't know if we've ever looked at it. What about contracting out the waste disposal and have curbside pickup?
Yeah, we actually have never actually looked at that. It's
We've
not
never
a half
actually
bad
looked
idea.
at it.
It's not a half bad idea. A lot of people in town actually do it already, which is kind of a sad situation, but it is true.
But I'm telling you, like, you know, there's options that we haven't even considered. Well, okay, but with that being said, what, I do think we should recycle the cans, because whether we're breaking even or something, you can't just, well, my opinion
We're
is.
doing it right now.
Yeah. So,
My suggestion on the cans, if you want to get 100%, you go down to the trailer place down here, get yourself a little utility 8x10 trailer that you can pull behind with the truck, load it up, drive it right across the street. You got to go about 20 seconds to Lambert's, right across the street, cash it in,
Either or
bring the
not.
truck back. That's simple. It's that easy. Lambert's is right across the street. Accepts all your metal. You have to go nowhere. You load it up, You back the trailer right up to where the bin already is, you throw the cans in,
That's
employee comes
certainly,
in, drives them over there, gets 100% and comes back.
that certainly can be an option.
So simple.
That can certainly be on that continuum. That can certainly be set up for 2017. We can certainly talk about appropriating funds, and then we would start with solutions that are on that scale.
To quote your chairman at the last meeting, is if we didn't go into that direction of new building, he was going to resign and no
let's
longer
not-
participate.
let's-
So
Let's not
if we're
make,
not gonna do that, then why are we, then the continuum doesn't continue.
let's just kind of,
Does that mean the town's gonna just close up shop and
No,
put-
that means that we don't
Alright,
have
then.
anybody to do this research for us, because that's why we have these committees, to do the research.
you then would be in charge of doing your own research?
Probably, most likely, we would leave it alone.
okay.
Huh?
I said it's a tough situation.
It's not a tough situation for me.
Well, I
It's
just think
common sense.
the tough part is the taxpayers coming up with money. That's gonna be the tough part of it, to sell it to the taxpayers.
We're not gonna sell.
Without getting our personal feelings involved, it would, you know,
I'm not gonna sell it. That's my opinion.
Well, we're not asking for one particular selectman to sell or not
I'm
sell.
just asking,
I'm
I'm
just
just
looking
pointing-
at,
Putting my opinion out there.
yeah. So, at what level does the town of Northwood want to recycle? You said right now we're at a 5.
Well, we've picked that number out as it's just kind of hard for us all to talk different languages about, well, where are we at now? So we said, yeah, 5.
I think it's probably, I think we're probably a little below halfway.
I think we're higher. We do everything now according to regulations. How could you say we're below halfway if everything?
Well, no,
the
no,
only
no,
thing
I'm
that-
not saying-
The only thing we're
I'm-
not doing is bailing it to get the absolute extreme, still losing money, price. That's the only thing we're not doing.
At the
Everything
current
else we're
time,
doing,
we're not.
everything else we're doing according to DES regulations. We're not doing anything. We're recycling our plastic, we recycle our cardboard, we recycle our cans, we recycle our tin, we recycle our metal, we recycle our TVs, we recycle our tires, we recycle our refrigerators. What else? We're just not doing it to the standard of the high-tech building.
At the present time, we're not recycling glass.
Yeah, but it would cost us more to get rid of glass than it's worth. We are recycling it. According to DES, we're not doing anything globally wrong. So what are we doing wrong?
Are we doing something right, though?
We're not paying out the wazoo to get rid of it and costing taxpayers money to get rid of something that we're not doing anything wrong to get rid of. Well, they're gonna do the same thing we're doing with it, crush it and use it for fill. The only thing is we don't have to look at the eyesore. That's the only reason why you guys don't like it. Let's be real. You don't wanna look at it. That's the only reason why people want it moved. They don't like looking at it. We're still doing the same exact thing that company, wherever we're gonna take it, they're doing the same exact thing that we're doing.
I guess my question is,
But we're paying them to do it.
what, I'll give you my answer on that, and, I don't, unless, okay, I look at something, what we doing polluting the environment, meaning, other than, that doesn't look nice, but is it causing damage to the soil? Is it causing damage to the water? Or to the air, is it actually doing harm? So, we'll take the glass, is that probably the best solution, is grinding the glass up? It's not like an area where you got, what I'm trying to say is, it isn't an isolated area. I don't think it's doing any harm to the water, soil, or air. So I kind of think the glass thing's really, other than the fact that it doesn't look nice, I don't think that's a big issue that we need to tackle and cost the taxpayers additional money. So then that goes, I do kind of support, one of the things I kind of support is, I don't think the baling would be a high cost item.
It's the places to put the stuff. That's the issue. You gotta have a place to put the bale, or you gotta have a place to store everything.
How big's, well, how big's a bill?
Oh, it's not, the baler's not the big problem. It's the, you can't keep it outdoors. Your bale, you can get a bale, I mean, depends what type of one you want. You want one that's gonna do cardboard like they have at Sam's Club, that you basically walk in with your cardboard and put it in there? Bales up about, it takes a huge, like 1 ton by 1 ton bale is $15. We ship out, what, 4 to 6 tons every month and a half of cardboard, maybe month? So you're talking $100 every month that you're gonna be making the town. And that's not even including having it shipped out. Doesn't matter who we go in with, we're still only gonna get the money for our cardboard. Regardless of if we go in with 100 towns, we're only gonna get the money that we put in. The amount that we put in is all we're gonna get. So plastic's what, 5 to 6 tons every month and a half? So that's 12 pulls, 12, let's say 6 pulls, 6 tons times 12 pulls, 1 a month. That's 72 tons. 72 tons. Times that by 15. That's how much money you would make a year off of plastic. Actually, I think plastic is less than $15 a ton. That's how much you would make.
And how much is it
And then that's not costing the man hours you gotta do it to do it. The price you're gonna have it to ship.
Guys, can we not talk about specifics, because those prices do change?
I'm just
And
kind of just throwing numbers.
I don't wanna misrepresent this, because their prices do change, and the shipping is different than just like 1 a week or 1 a month, so.
It does change, but that's the rough numbers.
Yeah, I just don't wanna misrepresent the
I know,
idea
but that is the rough numbers.
I mean, realistically, I think that the town, could probably invest $10,000 a year in this.
I don't think you need 10,000. What are you gonna, once you spend the first 10, where are you going with the other 10? Where are you going with it? You don't need that. I could see putting a building, I think you could spend $10,000 and have that upgraded to where I foresee it going. And that's it, one time spend. A small building to put the TVs and stuff under, they're like, you can get them right down here.
What's your feelings on this?
I've got mixed feelings. I'm not a big fan of recycling, but, I do see some of it, and like I say, I think it's gonna be a tough sale, but
You
they
see,
wanna try to sell it to the residents, I mean, that's up to them.
You don't need our approval to do a warrant article, you can always do a petition.
I'll say one thing, and that's not disagreeing with you, but we ask these committees to come together, volunteer, and, we should show them the respect of their ideas and see how we can look at their ideas and kind of make it work into something that works for the town, but doesn't cost the town a lot of money.
we're an advisory committee to the Board of Selectmen. And any action that we take has to come through the Board of Selectmen. So if there's going to be a warrant article, it needs to come through the Board of Selectmen because of that.
We just had the
And
budget,
if
we
you
just
don't-
had other committees do a petition one without coming to us.
But
We-
this is a town sanctioned, we created this committee.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like if a committee comes forward with an idea,
Yeah?
it's up to us to say yes or no.
Yeah, but they don't have to come to us, they can do a petition without coming to us, correct?
Not as a committee.
Isn't that what the Conservation Committee just did with the Bennett's?
A group of
Bennett's
people, I'll put it to you this way.
Outside of the committee started it?
No, let me.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm giving you, let me
I'm
say what I'm saying.
just going by what was brought in front of
The
me.
same people that are on the committee, hypothetically, the same people on the committee could start a petition to do this, but the petition would not be coming from the committee, it would be coming from the petitioners.
And I also believe the Conservation Committee is a standalone committee. The Recycling Committee is not. It's an advisory committee of the Board of Selectmen, created by the Board of Selectmen to
I
advise
wasn't
them.
saying it was different, I was just using it as an example. That's
Well,
all I was
the
doing.
Conservation Commission, no sense, it'd be the same thing, the town could either support, write the article for them, or they could petition it, but anyways, that's.
Yeah, but the reason this question is so important is that if you say, we want to recycle at a 5 or a 6, where we're at right now is a little bit above. The building that GJ points out is an excellent idea. Get stuff undercover, just do what we're doing now, nibble around the edges, and tighten what we do now
So
up.
maybe we should just. be
And maybe
looking-
spend $10,000 next year to do that.
So what you're saying is the one thing we need is a building to store things.
Well, you could, like,
But hang on one sec, could I just finish my point? Because what my point is that if that's what you want to do, you don't need a recycling committee, because you need a facilities committee. Because the facilities committee has the knowledge and the skills to build small buildings and to make those kind of facility changes. We don't have that kind of skill level on our recycling committee. And if that's what we, keep what we have, just make it a little bit more efficient with some different facilities. That is really, in my mind, falls under the domain of the facilities committee because of their skills.
I think what we're looking for tonight is really where we need to be focusing our energy. Obviously, we've put a lot of work into the building and what that would mean and how to make recycling more efficient. But if that's not the road that the Board of Selectmen wants to take, we don't want to invest any more of our time and commitment to the recycling committee going in that direction. We really need to know what direction you want us to move in. If you're looking for information on the baler, we'd be happy to research that and bring it back to you. But we don't want to do that knowing that there's other options that you're not looking for.
I know where you're coming from. So I'm just looking at this, I don't know as though at this moment in time then, that we need a recycling committee. Because I think the issue's more is how do we get this stuff covered and stuff? So based on the feedback I got from you, you're thinking this is more a facilities committee thing if we're just looking to make storage space.
If that's what you're looking to do, yeah. If you say, well, are we really meeting the state federal regulations around glass? Look into that for us. If you're saying, well, Jim, is Jim really right? You can't put sevens with one or two. Look into that for us. Then you need a recycling committee to do that.
Yeah, environmental all right, I'm gonna make an assumption here. Environmental Services does inspect that, comes in occasionally, looks at that. They look at the lagoon. They look at various parts, the training and so forth. I think if we had an issue, because they have cited us in the past and we've had to correct things. As of today, we are in compliance with the state regulations. So I guess my thought is, if we're in compliance with the state regulations and we're not in violation, we're not getting fined or anything, and granted, we need to plan for the future. I was kinda under the, I guess I'll put it out there, another elephant in it. I was kinda under the assumption that there was a recycling committee, that the group wanted a recycling committee to kind of come up with ideas to make it better without costing the town, not costing the town money, but infrastructure cost. And if that's,
I could see like bringing in some programs for different recycling. You could do, I mean, I know we've had it before where you bring your tools in or there's other things. I mean, you figure we don't accept antifreeze now. There's little minor things that we could do to make it more convenient that wouldn't cost the town $1 million. Antifreeze is so easy to accept. It's not even funny, but we've never even considered it there, ever. It's so easy.
And freeze would be free to accept.
And it's wicked easy. You just get a bin and I think it's a certification. It's super easy. And it's not like it's gonna cost us a ton of money. It would be a simple solution to one thing we don't take. Right now, somebody comes in with antifreeze, we tell them they don't take it, and guess where that probably goes?
So Scott, what I heard you say was, I'm drafting right now,
yeah,
okay?
it's all right.
All right. We'd like to ask the recycling committee to move us from a 5 to a 6, perhaps a 7, without any major infrastructure cost to the town.
Yes. Not saying like if there was money needed to do certain things within a certain, like, that's like when you asked me, how much would the town be willing to invest?
Right.
I was saying, well,
Depends on the situation and what we're
depending what
investing in.
depending what it was, it's like $10,000 a year would not be something that's undoable.
Well, if so, let's just hypothetically say we needed a $2,000 shed to put the batteries in, and to do away with that, put the batteries and put the light bulbs and stuff in, and do away with the hood truck, and do away with the shed with no floor in it. Let's say that we needed to spend $3,000 to $4,000 on a shed to do that.
My personal opinion is we could do that right now. We wouldn't even have to go to town because, correct me if I'm wrong,
That's what the
sometimes I am
transfer
wrong.
station fund is
That's
for.
what the transfer station fund's for. And how much is in the transfer station fund? I'm being facetious. We don't have to look that up.
It's
But-
$6,700,
How much?
about 6,700.
So I mean,
I'm sorry, 57,100,
$5,700?
57,000.
$57,000,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
$57,000. So if you came to this board and you had like actually went out and got estimates and said, we want to build this for this, I think we could do that and take the money right out of the transfer station fund.
Before, I'd also like, and I agree with you, but I'd also like to look into, do we need are you thinking of doing those two together? Let's look at the opportunities here. I don't think we need a huge building just for batteries, in my opinion, or light bulbs. Can we put them together, I guess? Are you allowed to? There might be some
Do they have to be
regulations.
segregated? Yeah,
There might
these
be
are the
some
questions.
regulations on that. I don't know, there might be. I
No,
think it's
but like,
possible.
what I'm saying is, there's things that we can realistically do that's not gonna have any cost to the taxpayers, that we have money in a fund.
Right.
So did you have any, so if we said, let's just be hypothetically, you got like $57,000 in that fund, without the goal of extinguishing that fund, is there
How much do you
project?
put in a year, roughly?
Well, it's basically all the revenue we collect,
12 or 16 in this year.
yeah.
1,200?
So,
1,200, 12,000?
If you want,
So it can't be, we haven't used hardly anything.
to be really, to be blunt and honest with you,
yeah,
What's it voted
I'm
on?
only willing to stay at 50,000 feet tonight. If you want to say, recycling committee, go back to work and find ways to move us from a 5 to a 6 to a 7 with no major infrastructure costs, considering the funds that we have available in the ETF, the expendable trust fund for
That's
the
what I want.
transfer station, bring us back solutions. I'm willing to do that.
I'm willing.
But to sit here and to tell you specifics about some plan that we've not.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
We can't digress into the details because we
you.
don't have details. But what I guess if and I'm speaking for myself and I'll let the board speak out, if we can use the funds that we have already in a fund and maintain, try to move like up to 60%, well, move from a 5 to a 6, I'd like to do that. I feel very difficult. It's like, not that I wouldn't like to do it, but I think that if we put a warrant article for like $1,000, and I don't even want to get, for like a nice recycling center that's gonna do this, that maybe we could bring some other towns in. I think at this point, that's not something we can sell to the taxpayers. So if you're asking for directions, that's exactly what you just said is what I mean, is we have about $57,000 we just putting in. So when we add that 12, that's gonna go up to what, 69?
Thereabouts, yeah.
So we're putting about $10,000, let's just say we'll put $10,000 a year, that's probably the average revenue that goes in the year, 10 to 15,000. If we can work within those numbers to make improvements without costing the taxpayers like a large, without increasing their tax rates, I'd be very supportive of that. Did that answer your, let me ask you this, did that answer your question?
Well, it answers our question of where you personally stand.
Okay,
I think we want to know where the board is.
okay, that's where I stand. I don't know.
I think I said where I stood as far as low-hanging fruit in our meeting. I pretty much copied what Scott said, maybe not in those exact terms. But I'm okay with upgrading a few things, that just because we're putting in $10,000 a year doesn't always necessarily mean that we're gonna use $10,000 every year. But it's gonna be like you said, Scott, if they come to us base to base thing, oh, hey, we need a small building or whatever, lean-to, whatever you wanna call it, to put the tires under, that's gonna cost us $1,200. Okay, we can do that. That's how I feel. If we're, like you said, we're not costing the taxpayers $1 million, and in 5-10 years, who knows, maybe the plastics and all that will start making money, we'll have all the other infrastructure there, all you'll need is the building. You won't need all the other stuff, you'll already have it there.
You know, one of the, and I don't want to digress, and I hope I'm not digressing, I might be a little bit, but what I saw as low-hanging fruit was I really thought that, okay, this is not, let's use the scale as an example. I thought that if we could create something where people could take it and put it onto a scale, weigh it and price it out, that was the one I think was gonna cost us 15, like say 15 to 20,000.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 at the beginning.
All right,
or
let's just
something,
say
whatever.
10 to
I know where you're going.
15.
I know where you're going.
But that, okay, that's doable. But if you had that drive-up one that like the trucks, weigh the trucks and stuff, that was like a couple $100,000. That's not reasonable for this town.
I think.
So
the
like,
thing
when we
is
talk
with
about slow-hanging fruit,
okay.
that other variety, but that's not to be discussed tonight, but those are the type of things I'd be looking for.
Okay.
Something that we could do within the funds that we have in that recycling fund would be an easy sell for me to say, yep, let's go ahead and do that, as long as it makes sense.
Okay. Mr. Wolf?
I think as far as building the building, I mean, to use, to put stuff in, that's a good idea, but we gotta be frugal when we do it.
Right.
I mean, if you get somebody to put up a building for this 10 by 20, that's gonna cost you $15,000, that's unreasonable. And to me, I just built a building that's 36 by 48, cost me $15,000, but that doesn't count labor. So, my concern is,
So you're
when
saying
we
you're
do
gonna-
these things,
We buy the materials, you're gonna build the building.
whatever.
I don't think we need
Maybe
that
seek
big.
some volunteers.
I don't think we
Maybe
need
seek
that.
some volunteers in town.
Rick, I don't think we need that
I'm just
big of a
saying,
building.
we need to be
Did we get that in the minutes?
We need to be frugal, you know what I mean? I don't mind spending money.
I'm gonna be honest with you, we'll get a laugh out of this. Did you ever see Unforgiven? Clint Eastwood?
Clean Eastwood, yeah.
Remember the sheriff's building? The guy that was the sheriff at the town, that's what kind of building you would get if you have me build a building for you. And this leaks. So anyways,
just
So
think-
moving us to a 6 or a 7 without spending a huge amount of capital costs and staying within what we get,
that's
for
what,
money
that's what I
each
think it
year.
sounds like we can support.
you support that, Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, I would.
Well, I mean, I think it's gonna be a base-to-base thing on what they come. I support trying to move that forward, but that doesn't mean that every idea, I don't wanna portray that every idea you come with us, that we're gonna say, okay, we'll do it. Like, for instance, the scales, I think you said it the first time we brought it up, you were dead set against it. You sat right over there and said, no, he did, not looking at you. You said, I don't particularly like scales, I don't think we'll ever get our money back, and I actually agree with you. And it actually, you know, there's gonna be certain things if you come that we might not support, but as far as trying to build it better and listening to your ideas,
I
I
like the little
will do
scale.
that.
Well, we're talking 50,000 feet, and within 50,000 feet, there's a lot of room for
I think-
all kinds of plans to do
think-
stuff.
Right, I'm
I
just
think
saying,
they're
we'll
looking-
definitely
did-
listen.
Do you feel that this discussion we're having is giving you some direction? I guess I'll ask that. If like, without huge costs that I'd have to go out to bond or create a huge warrant article, if we can utilize making things better with the fund that's already created, I think you may not get everything you asked for, but I think that, you know, 2 out of 3 items that we probably more than likely say yes to.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I can tell you uncategorically, the last 50 minutes have been the best conversation the town of Northwood has had about recycling in the 11 years that I've been here. It's absolutely thrilling to be part of the conversation. So I thank you for your time. Do you have anything that,
Is it possible that the Board of Selectmen could possibly give us a list of immediate things that they would approve and that they would like to see changed, updated, something done with, so we know immediately where to start, and then,
Well, this is what I'd like to see, but sometimes they don't
Go ahead.
agree with me. I like to see, I think one of the biggest issues we have at the transfer station that I get the most customer complaints about is that when somebody brings something in and they have to pay for the disposal, there's no accurate way to measure how much that should cost.
The thing, that the problem, I tend to agree with you and disagree at the same time. The issue with that is what are you gonna start charging for? Lee, if we base it on what Lee's doing, they're giving the first 30 pounds or whatever it is for free, $5 for 100 pounds. We're actually charging way higher rates than that if you go by what they're charging. So it's a slippery slope you could go on.
I know, but I've had people come in.
I agree, I've had it too, but I've had a few.
I think there has to be a fair and uniform way.
It's only the construction debris that is the issue. It's construction debris and shingles is where the issue is. As far as like couches, it's $5.
So a
Well-
true metric system of what the cost will be. Maybe
Yes,
something that's posted so that when you go there, you
It's
know what
clear,
you're
like,
looking. You know what you'll be paying.
I'll tell you a story. I was actually there and somebody came in and I happened to be there and they asked me to take a look at it. And, not mentioning any names, the employee, and they were like, well, that'll be $25. And they were asking, how'd you come up with that? And I go, and I was like, kind of thinking in my head, that's a little steep for that, you know? So if we could get a uniform schedule, and this would go back and not to rehash.
The problem is with the cubic foot, and I agree with you, Scar, it's always been a gray area there, because we've never done it by weight. It's always been a cubic foot, and you know as well as I do, unless you can take out your tape measure, but you still have spaces in the cab that aren't being used up. And if you come in, just for instance, you come in with a full truck full of, I don't know, I'm just gonna say feathers because they're light, and a full truck full, same exact size truck with shingles, guess who's getting the short end of the stick there? By
Well,
charging.
that's why, but
I understand that,
a
but
pound
that
of
was always
feathers-
where, that's
Pound of
always
feathers
where.
costs the same as a pound of
Right,
brick.
but where do you draw the line if we're charging by the cubic foot? It was always all.
Well, that's why I like the weight thing.
The thing is with the scale,
It
they're
depends.
very delicate, digital scales, and if you got people.
And then you gotta
putting
buy the
stuff on
equipment,
them
you gotta move it in and out, you gotta have somebody run the equipment, you can't do it when you're open, you gotta have all the bins.
It would be hard to weigh shingles.
really,
on a
technically-
4x4 platform scale,
Yeah,
no matter how you do it. I mean, you'd have to take them out of a trailer or pickup truck, put them in a crate or a
and
bin,
then a bin and then
have a way
have,
to put them on the scale, a way to take them off of the scale.
still buying equipment, it's not as easy as just
I
buying the
developed a
scales.
plan to do the weighing with the scales, and it would be about $40,000.
With a grant.
We could potentially get a grant to pay for half of it, so it would cost the town about $20,000.
Oh, no, the town still has to repay that grant back out of a grant fund.
Well, no.
No, that's
Wouldn't
not how
be a
that works.
grant.
Hold on a
We
second.
still have to pay it back.
Well, let me explain it. We have a grant fund. Because, for example, the grant he's giving you example of is called, it's 50% town,
Right, we
50%
still
the
have to pay
grantor.
for 50%
So
of it.
what they're saying is, if they needed $40,000 to do the project, the town would pay the $40,000.
Well, no, they're saying they
The
need
town would
80,
pay.
they need 80,000 and we're
No,
paying
no,
40.
he's saying,
I still have it out in my truck, that's what it says.
does the total project cost 40K?
Yes.
And you
After,
would get,
I don't think
after.
we have solid numbers on that, but around 40,000
yeah,
total project.
so,
40,000.
so what would, using that scenario, the town would pay 20K and the grant would give us 20. Is it one of those things where we'd have to put it up and they'd reimburse us, or would they just
Well, we'd
actually
be
match
happy to
the
look
cost?
into that further.
I think it
if
was
that's the
40,000
direction
with
that-
it.
That we're going in.
See, those are the type of things I'd want the recycling committee to do, and then we'd either decide based on the information, okay, if this is only gonna cost us 20K, we'll do it, but if it's gonna cost us 40K, that's too much, you know. But if they can do it for 20K with matching funds, those are the type of things that I look to the recycling to give us advice on. That's not a huge infrastructure change.
We're really looking for direction because we don't want to spend a lot of time on the research.
No, and I understand that.
So if this isn't considered low-hanging fruit, or if
Yeah.
you guys could give us a small list that we could start with, and we know where we're working
Why don't
from.
we, why don't we, because I can tell right now that I like this idea. I don't know how my co-selectmen feel about it. So you'd be getting direction from me, and then you might come back and they might not like it. So,
My question is, Scott, with this, is this whole scale thing has been on the table numerous times before. Both kind. And every time it got to anywhere, it was voted down. So what's changing your mind now?
Who, me?
No, him.
No,
I'm not asking you.
I
It
actually,
has been brought to the board before.
okay, but don't you?
I'm just asking you a question, Scott. What's changing your mind now? I mean,
I think we should have a fair and equitable way that people can determine how to get rid of their waste that is even
because
for everybody.
there was never really a complaint point before. Is that what it was?
I had never received a complaint.
Until just recently, when we had some new, not saying anything negative, we've had some new employees that don't know that aren't properly trained correctly yet. Not saying that they can't be. I'm just saying, what has changed your mind? I'm just asking a question.
I don't think, what has changed my mind realistically is I don't think there's a fair and equitable way so that everybody's paying the same price when they go down there.
Okay.
I don't think they ever were, I don't think they were now. I think it varies whether who's down there previously, now, forward, that there's no accurate unit of
It was brought
measurement.
before, and it was brought before you before, and every time it went nowhere. I'm just asking questions. It's all, I just want to know, because I'm
Well,
sure the
giving
public
you-
wants to know the
I'm
same thing.
giving you my answer. I don't think there's a uniform way for the public to know what they're expected to pay when they go down there to get rid of stuff that they need to pay let's say construction material. I don't think one person might pay one price, another person will pay another based on. I was literally down there and they were looking at that saying, oh, well, this is this by this by this, I'm gonna charge you this. And I always thought that the fairest way to pay for getting rid of refuge is by weight. That's what we get billed by, tonnage.
So why'd we wait so long to do it then?
I think because we're having a discussion tonight of,
I'm just wondering, we've had this discussion before and it went nowhere. It's all right, we can stop now before, it's fine. It makes perfect sense.
Thank you for your time.
thank you for coming in, I appreciate what you're doing.
Yes, you can. Sorry, thank you.
Scales are a tough thing. I mean, if you get a little scale, it can be knocked down by somebody dropping 20 pounds on it. A bigger scale is more tolerable.
We got somebody here for an interview, you wanna do that next?
For what?
We got somebody here for an interview, you wanna do that next?
Oh, yeah.
We get two people.
Are they both here?
Yeah, they're both,
Yeah.
yeah, they've been waiting for a while now.
It's my understanding that we have a couple people here for interviews. Okay, you got one person now, one person coming in later?
No, they're both here now.
Okay. Is there, I guess I'll ask you a question. Other than the interviews, is there a lot of a lot of approvals tonight and so forth?
A lot of, I didn't hear what the question was.
I look at it as an interview as non-public,
Yes?
okay? How long, is it your recommendation that we do the interviews now and then go back into public session? That's what I'm asking you. How much approvals, motioning and stuff like that do you have tonight?
If you guys do it quickly, we can get through it.
In what, half hour?
Sure.
Okay, because was gonna put the interviews up till the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Is that,
That's, if you guys do the stuff quick, it's just basic signing.
okay, let's go. Business. I'd like to get a motion to accept the minutes of, January 10th.
Motion to accept the minutes for January 10th?
The second,
Second.
okay, is there any amendments or changes to the minutes? Anything, say you guys saw that you'd like to have edited or anything? All set? All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Okay, that they're approved. Any assessing forms tonight?
Yep, we got assessing.
How many?
2.
Okay.
Land use change tax, this first one, there is no tax being levied. It's because it's part of a open space development. This is just a housekeeping matter.
Okay.
All right, so motion to accept the land use change for map 210, lot 86, in the amount of $0.
Could you pass me an extra pen?
I'll second that for discussion.
Okay, you've got moved and seconded, discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Why is this land isn't in current use, or what's,
It's currently in current use. This is part of the development. I think it's on Pender. And this is the open space that is required to be there. This is just housekeeping. It's got to be there. The value is now attributed to the other parcels around it. So it can't be built on,
so when it's put into open space, then it's non-taxable for us?
yeah, it's non-taxable for us coming out of current use.
Okay, it's in current,
kinda-
it's in current, but yeah, I got a question about that too. It's in current use now.
Yes,
They're paying a low tax rate.
Yeah.
yes.
So when you say it goes into open space, and I think I understand what you're saying, but when it goes into open space, it's no longer taxable because it's shared by all the homeowners.
It's shared by the other homeowners.
Now, my next question, follow-up, would be, if it's not owned by anybody, then anybody in town could technically go there and use it.
Yes, it's open space.
So it's open to the public,
Yes, it's open to the public.
not just the residents in that
No,
neighborhood.
everybody.
Well, then someone needs to take down some of the no trespassing signs that abut it then.
Is there no trespassing signs on there?
There are signs around the property
haven't
in
been out there.
spots.
So my question is, there shouldn't be, if you're saying, in essence, this becomes nobody's land, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's part of our zoning ordinances. It becomes open space. Yeah, so it's,
So,
Nobody's in
I'm
everybody's,
aware of that
yes.
because of planning, but
we can have them, if there are signs, we'll have them taken down.
that's what I think you're asking, right?
Yeah,
'Cause that's open space. People can use that
Are the
land.
right
signs,
now there are signs. I don't know if they're
We'll-
gonna take
we'll
them
have them
down
taken
after,
down.
but,
so is there signs on the open space?
yeah, it says no hunting, it says this,
Yeah,
it says
but
that.
those have to come
They-
down.
We'll have them pulled down.
And I mean, it should be in a letter when this is granted that, so there's not a problem after we approve it.
Because I guess I agree with them, if they're not paying any taxes,
And they have no right to the land.
The okay.
If they wanna keep it in current use and keep people off it, that's fine. I
well,
don't
I
have a
think the
problem with
reason
it
they want to
that
take it out
way.
of current use is because the one paying the taxes on it is the developer. Like right now,
Either
who's-
that or all the homeowners would have to pick up the,
It's attributed
Non-current
to,
use.
it's attributed to the homeowners. All of the value on that land is now distributed amongst the homeowners.
okay, that's not what, okay,
It's open space, though. Anybody can use that piece of
no,
land.
no, he's asking, is anybody gonna be paying taxes on that land? I think
It's,
that's,
it's coming from all of the homeowners in that
All the
and
development.
what's the value of that land?
Uh,
Quite a bit of money.
it should be in the paperwork.
Is that there's lot 65 and lot 86.
You're at 86.
So you got,
yeah, it says 50
well, 86 says 0,
And that's what you're looking at.
so there's no change in the tax.
There's no change in, this is just a housekeeping matter
Can I read
for us.
Sure, absolutely.
That doesn't make any sense.
No,
In current use, it should have been taxed something.
Yeah. Rick, this piece of property is being taxed. This is the change of use tax. You know, the penalty for coming out of conservation, or out of current use. That's why that's why we're saying it's 0. There is
Get
no
to take it
penalty
out for
being
nothing.
assessed.
there is no penalty.
There is no penalty being assessed. That's what the 0 is.
Okay,
And so it's still gonna be taxed, correct?
The value goes to the homeowners in that development, yes.
I guess, I'm sorry, Joe. Who's paying the tax now?
The homeowners.
The homeowners are paying the tax for that development. And that document says the value is dispersed amongst all those homeowners.
So what you're saying is there's nothing gonna actually happen from this? It's already being done,
It's just a housekeeping matter.
just housekeeping.
How did it get to be a housekeeping matter?
Because it probably never got done. That's
The development is now, they're coming to an end of that
I
development.
realize that.
And so now they're just taking care of what's finishing up.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. They're gonna be paying the same tax they are today after we sign this. They're being taxed the way they're supposed to do, and the paperwork does not reflect that.
This doesn't show me that.
Okay. You should,
I can have Fred the assessor come in at the next meeting.
why don't you hold it till the next meeting?
Oh, I've already signed it.
So I'll give you the same piece of paper.
I'm willing to approve it, he's just got a question on it, so let's just table it to the next
All
meeting.
right, so here's another one. This one would be land use change tax for map 210 lot 65. And this one would be, we're collecting $6,320.
That's because we're pulling it out of current use, right? And that's
Yes.
the penalty.
That's the penalty that's being assessed on that land.
Okay, somebody wanna move that one?
I'll move to
Approve?
accept, to approve.
Do I have a second?
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion on this one? That one's getting assessed, how much, $6,000 penalty?
$6,320 penalty.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries and approved. Okay, manifest. Can I get a motion for the
big fat
manifest?
All right. Motion for, is this payroll or?
That's
Vendor
vendor.
manifest 2017, number 3, in the amount of $113,288.18.
Second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Manifest is approved, 3-0.
I have a PO from the fire department. This is for the pump for the forestry truck. Half of this will be reimbursed back from the grant that Nick received.
Okay, so is this our half? Or is this the
It-
overall?
It's cost reimbursement. We pay, and then
I
they
know,
give
so,
it
but
back
is
to
this-
us.
So we're gonna,
That's the whole thing.
all right, this is the whole thing. So this is the motion to accept a vendor purchase order for Jordan Lumber for a forestry pump, and this is a grant where we have to match half, so in the amount of $3,857.
Second from Rick. Any discussion, questions on the motion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Approved, 3-0.
Sign on the right one this time.
There you go.
PO to encumber funds for our lawyer,
For where?
for the lawyer.
Zoning board. Okay, so this would be for vendor manifest for BCM environmental land law, and this is for the zoning board legal. Do I need to say what it's for?
Well,
For an amount of $3,000
yeah, for appeal.
for Superior Court Appeal.
Second,
Second.
okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Rick, you're an aye? Okay. It's approved, 3-0.
The next is to retain Vachon Cloquet for our audit. This is for the chairman to sign, and then I'll sign if it's
So
approved.
what, are we just gonna make a motion to allow him to sign it?
Hold on, I want to read this first. Is this for the upcoming audit for next year, or is this is for, okay,
This,
for the one we just finished?
for the one that's coming up.
Yeah, and they've already done the work, right? Are they coming in?
They're starting to come in. Sandy's gathering the information
Okay.
for it.
All right. Because so then the question I have, the reason why we'll look at it is, how long have we had them now?
Yeah, we
It's-
were gonna talk about.
It's been a
putting
long
out the
time,
bid.
yeah.
You can't, yeah, but they have to do the audit this year, and this is for this year's audit.
Yep.
Can I just, a little direction is, why don't we put this out to bid
Sure.
for next year?
For 2017 audit.
I mean, just go out and put it out there,
All right.
okay?
Sure.
But you wanna make them, someone wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to allow Scott to sign a contract for Vashon Boucle, or whatever, Boucle,
Vashon Cloutier.
for our auditing purposes.
Second. Okay, any discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Here you go. You wanna just put it down there?
I get it.
Thanks, Rick.
Appointment to the Conservation Commission, Mr. Tom Chase.
What, Tom Chase?
Motion to accept Tom Chase's, appointment to the Conservation Committee. His term of office will expire March 31st, 2019.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so just sign that. Mr. Chase's appointment to the Conservation Commission has been approved.
Okay, this is the town warrant. This is the culmination of the budget season. This
Is
is
this
what,
the, thing that you mailed us?
The final one.
The final one?
yeah, it might be.
Oh, never mind.
I don't know what you're looking at.
I'm incorrect. But this, yeah,
This is the 737, DRA went in and approved it, and then this is the Selectmen, you guys sign in 3 spots. Before you sign it, I need to give you a few changes that DRA made to some of the language. For our favorite warrant article, the backhoe, they asked me to remove not to exceed number, not to exceed. They said that warrant, even without that language, you can't spend more than what we're appropriating.
Which one was that?
Number 11.
backhoe.
Okay. Is that it?
No, I was just giving you guys, and Article 15, I just had to put a -A in there, which doesn't change that article. Almost not at all.
So,
I have a question on this other one.
yeah.
Why did you say they said you needed to take out not to exceed?
Because whatever gets approved at town
Can't
meeting.
go above that
Can't
anyways.
go above that amount anyways.
Yeah, and I printed the conversation I had with them, if you guys want to see that.
No, that's
It makes
fine.
actually, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We can't go over the amount, it makes sense.
I told them to leave it, they said, no, don't leave it, so it's okay.
No, that's fine.
It doesn't, yeah, it makes sense why you wouldn't have it there. Obviously, that means you can't go above it.
Joe, could you put them on our agenda? They,
Sure.
I think that, if I'm reading that right, the request to be put on the agenda?
Yeah, it does, okay.
They asking for money too, or,
Yes, that's what they will do.
okay.
Okay.
Well, they will be asking for money, but they're not looking to get, it's too late to get on this year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
So what do I need? Do I need to make a motion to accept this, or are we just sign
well,
it?
I think you make a motion, but we have to sign it,
Yeah.
because there won't be a warrant.
Motion to sign a 2017, I guess you would call this the voter's guide?
No, that's the warrant.
The
That's the
warrant.
actual warrant.
So there was no other changes in the back one?
Nope, that was it.
And one little dash you had to put in that, like, didn't really,
On number 15, yeah.
Okay, I'll second it for discussion. Is there any discussion on that before you approve it to be signed?
Nope.
Seeing none, all in favor of signing it, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's been approved 3-0. Do you just have one of these that have to be signed? Sometimes I was,
That's it right there.
okay,
Yep.
Oh, here, you want
And-
this too? That goes with it, but.
okay.
Yeah, we have to post that with the actual thing you guys signed.
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, that goes with it. Well done, purchase orders, signatures, signed town warrant. Anything else you got there that needs to be signed?
No,
Right.
we were gonna talk ice skating rink and credit card processing, but, I mean, that's not you don't need to do that tonight, that can be kicked back.
Well, what about let's talk rink real quick. What's going on with the rink?
I have a few questions about that, or just real quick.
Sure.
What kind of, if we decide to get that, what kind of liability does that give the town?
I talked to our insurance company, and it's just covered under our general liability, so
Am I-
there is no cost, and we're covered just as we would be.
Then my other question is where are we gonna put it?
The idea is to put it over here, you know where the shoe shop is? The little wooden shack in front of the garage?
Yeah?
The Route 4 side of that.
So you're talking right over here, basically, on the lawn almost?
Yep, right on the lawn.
It's 60 by 60, that's what, 5 feet by 5 feet? Or what was it? Was it 60 feet?
It is 60 feet by 60
60
feet.
feet by 60 feet? Is there enough space there?
Almost. It's just a big tarp, so it's 70 feet by about 45, so we'd have to just kind of, she can get a smaller one, but you can put the board and then let the excess hang over,
Okay,
and then you can fill it up that way.
okay.
And she's talked to, Sharon DeLuca, the rec director, has talked to other towns who have done this, and apparently it's worked very well for them. We wanted to make sure the product was what we wanted.
Do we have to buy a Zamboni machine?
It's a
Now,
little,
my other
it's a
question
little
is-
hand thing if we
My
want
other
to.
question is what is that gonna do? I mean, not that it doesn't hurt my feelings, but it's gonna hurt some. What's it gonna do to the grass that's over there? Obviously, it's gonna kill it.
Oh, no.
Don't
No,
think
it
so?
should
When
be
you
okay.
put it
No,
on
what
narrow all
happens,
winter?
what happens
Put
is
it
you
over
take
there
it
all
off,
winter?
no, because the grass is dormant now because it's
I
frozen.
know, I understand it's not gonna kill it like that, but it's still gonna be, you
I
take it
think if you
off.
take it off in a timely period before the thaw, you know, like,
I don't know, it will obviously grow back,
Yeah.
Scott, that's not what I'm saying.
The idea behind this was to get, because we don't have a lot for kids, like teens, and then even 11, 12, up to 18 years old. There's not a lot to do for those kind of folks in town in terms of rec.
Oh, I like the idea.
Yeah, a skating rink, where we have a bonfire and then some lights, selling hot chocolate. It would be a good thing.
where are they gonna park?
And where would you have the fire?
The old beanhole bash pit is still over there with
Is
the
it?
metal pit.
I'm not,
yeah.
I mean, just questions, I like the idea, I'm just asking questions.
You know, I don't see, like, we got enough room for them to park without.
Oh, yeah,
going-
they would park,
Okay.
yeah.
I look at this rink, and if you look at this blue liner that's on this picture,
That's the one in Concord.
I know, but what I'm saying is, this liner is lower than the ice, so when someone skates and they hit this edge, this is a rubber liner, it's gonna poke holes in that liner if it, you know what I'm saying?
The kit comes with the boards, and then it comes with the,
Kick rail.
yeah, whatever you call the things that go over the boards, the puffy.
Bumpers or
Yeah,
whatever.
the bumpers, we'll call them.
I mean, I've been to the one in Concord, it's actually not a bad skating rink. My concern was space and liability, I like the idea.
That, and who's gonna
Space.
maintain it? Every time it snows, it's got to be shoveled. and-
I mean, that was,
When
the
the ice
one in
gets
Concord,
nasty,
the one in
someone's gotta
Concord is the
maintain
people
it.
that go and use it. I don't think, I could be wrong, I don't believe the one in Concord, they have a set person that does it. It's, if you go and use it, you clean it off. That's the way I believe. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure with that, but that, we could always do that too, you know? Or we can have somebody do it every time.
What do we have out here for lighting, anything?
Yeah, there's some lights that are strung up that they used to use for beanhole bash, so those lights are still there, but we were thinking about getting some Christmas lights and rolling them down the tree to kind of create a little, some atmosphere.
This is obviously a winter thing.
Yeah, and this was a
It'd be
thing for
kinda
just a
late for
couple
this
weeks.
year.
If we did it, we might get 3 to 4 weekends out of it.
Are you suggesting it would only be
Gotta
open
get
on the
cold enough
weekends?
weather to freeze it solid.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what the original thought was, but, you know, it's open to
It's just,
whatever
I
we
mean, it's
want.
gonna be open anytime, there's no way you can control it, basically, once it's there. It's gonna be hard to tell somebody they can't use it when they wanna use it.
Yeah, well, we were thinking in terms of open, in terms of turning on the lights, setting a fire in the fire pit, selling product is what.
right, you can have it
you know.
open all times, but special events that you have
Yeah.
certain things.
Okay, so what do you wanna know, if you could go ahead with it, or?
Well, it's $2,500 maximum. It's 17 for the ice rink and then some lights, and I think she wanted a hot cocoa maker. So,
It's
yeah,
coming out of the rec fund, right?
it's coming out of the rec
So it
fund.
came to more than 2,500, is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, 20, no
No
more
impact on
than.
taxes, it's coming out of the rec.
No, I know, I understand what he's saying, but you're saying, so the $1,700, you want something for no more than 25 is what you're asking?
Yes, for all the extra things that she was hoping to get.
I'm okay with that. There's no liability, it's covered under our general liability, I'm fine with that. You okay with that?
I'm fine with it.
Well,
But I'm just saying, if they can't get it up this year, let's not rush and get it up and not be able to use it at all.
Yeah, I
mean, I'd
agree
rather
with Rick,
wait till
I'd
next
almost,
year.
if we're
I
not gonna
agree
be
with
able to
that,
use
too.
it, I'd almost rather,
Is
not that
that
we can't get
something
it.
that'd probably be more practical to wait till, like, you got permission to buy it, so we can use it next December?
I mean, I don't have a problem if there's time enough to do it, but I hate to see him get it set up, get the liner in and go
Yep.
through all the trouble, and then we
Yeah,
can't
that's
have
what I
ice
fear.
that's solid.
I don't, I agree with
skate
him
on.
too.
We were worried
If
about
it's feasible,
that too.
set it up. If it isn't, don't
Wait,
push
you know,
it.
do it
You're
for
you're
next
okay
year.
to buy the kit?
Yeah,
but
I don't have a problem
We don't have
buying
a problem with
the
you
kit.
buying the kit, we just don't want you to set it up unless it's gonna actually get used.
Get cold.
I might
That's
say
fair.
Use it next year.
I'd say
We
let's
were
just get it for
concerned
next
about
We
that.
year.
get it 2 weeks from now, there's not gonna be, you know, a lot of the season left.
Yeah, all right.
I see it's coming out of Illinois, so it could be at least a week to
Well,
get
it's gonna
it
take a
here.
week probably to set it up, get it filled, and
Then
a
you gotta
couple
get it
good
to
cold
freeze.
nights to get it frozen.
Yeah. Well, let's see when we get it, and then, I mean, we'll have a meeting by then, and we can talk about it with the rec director
I
too.
don't have a problem
I
buying
don't
it.
have a problem buying it either,
Alright,
because
So, motion to approve buying the rink, not to exceed $25,000 in between.
2,500.
What are we buying, teeny bag door?
You're generous tonight, Scott.
It really is.
We buying
And
it.
at $2,500,
I'll second that motion.
No more discussion.
if you want.
I said,
Seeing no more
I asked.
discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved.
Cool.
Let's hold off on the credit cards and, is there, we're going to go into non-public, but before we do that, anybody got selectmen's report?
I'm okay tonight.
You okay tonight?
Yep.
I don't have anything. I'm gonna open it up based on,
Oh, wait, you want something?
what?
I don't have a selectmen's report. You have a town report that needs to be talked about.
Oh,
Do you want to talk about? it
let's
was- it
do
was
that
on-
right after, the interviews. That might take a while. So I'd like to get a motion and to go into, what I was gonna ask, are there any citizens' comments? We will be coming out of non-public, but is there any citizens' comments? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to get a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A, colon 32, it looks like A and E.
Second.
Second
Okay.
that motion.
Rick Wolf,
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
I also vote yes, so we are now in non-public session. Okay,
I'll need his name.
can I get a motion to come out of non-public?
Motion to come out of non-public?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I'll now do a roll call. Rick Wolf?
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes. DJ?
Yes.
Okay, we're now out of non-public, back in a regular session. Can I get a motion to seal the non-public meeting?
Motion to seal the non-public minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Do you have a couple of motions you want?
I have a few. We'll start with this one. This is a motion to relieve, payment of $132.16 for lot number 215, map 215, lot 21. Is that correct, Joe? Did I read that right?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing
None.
none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's the young man.
Okay, so this is a motion to hire on a part-time fill-in position at the transfer station for a Noah Witham at grade 2, step 1, for $9.99 an hour, not to exceed, what was it, 20 hours or 13 hours or something like that? Not to exceed 20 hours?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion,
I don't have to sign that,
so he's been approved for, hiring.
Okay, so this is another one. This is a motion for, this is gonna be strictly an on-call, only as needed. If somebody calls in sick person for the transfer station, Michael Hedman. The same thing, grade 2, step 1 for $9.99. I guess this would be a no, I don't know if we can set an hourly rate, because it would be basically as needed.
Yeah, you don't put the hours, you just say
As needed,
nine.
as needed.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing
No.
none, oh, did you want to say?
I said no.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, is there any more business to come before this board tonight?
No, I got nothing. Are you guys? Rick,
Oh, yeah, we do, we gotta go over the selectmen thing.
Yes.
That's why, okay. So, Joe and I talked, and, I gave Joe some direction on, what I thought the selectmen's report should look like. He took one that, I don't know, he took one that I wrote several years ago and kinda updated it. So I just wanted to share it with you guys to see if you concurred with it before, he gave it to Linda. Do we have a copy? Yeah, I think did you have a copy in a package?
It wasn't in the packets, but it was left on the desk there,
Oh, I didn't see one.
or on your packets when you came in.
This must be it here then.
Is that this right here?
You didn't leave it with me, cause I probably already saw it, right?
No, I did
Oh,
leave.
I haven't read
Is
it.
this it right here?
Yes.
Report right here? Yeah, I read that. I did read it.
didn't.
It was, I did read it too. You wouldn't really know that's what it was. Reads good to me.
Just wanna ask one question. Do we wanna put in, I'm just asking, no, we don't need to put any dollar amounts in here, do we?
I haven't seen any that have it, no.
Okay.
I went back and looked.
What were you gonna put in for dollar?
I'll just say like, you know, this is how much Mary Walden cost, but that'll be in the, MD&A.
Mary Waldron?
Yeah, you paved it, the parking lot.
Oh,
And then, like, for example, how much was the HVAC system?
Well, the people approved the money for that.
Oh, I know.
was it 33 or 34?
Yeah, I'm good with this. It sounds okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with
I
it.
don't have a problem with it.
No, sounds.
I think it's
okay.
too, you look, this is about how long they usually are, right?
The one I copied from 2013 was about that long, yeah. Maybe even a little shorter.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
You know what? Linda will want a picture. Can I get a picture after the meeting
No.
to put into the
I
town
think
report?
maybe,
I wish you told us you were doing the picture tonight.
Why?
Why, 'cause you don't have your suit and tie on, we'll all look alike. We're average gentlemen.
Average
I don't
man.
ever plan on dressing like this. I'm an average guy, that's all I wanna be.
Okay, I'll be average.
Don't worry, I gotta be honest with you, Scott, that suit and tie don't make you look any different in the townspeople's eyes. I mean, it really doesn't.
Uh-oh, that was a hurt.
No, I don't mean that negatively or
only
positively,
kidding.
it's the truth.
only kidding.
I've actually had people tell me they don't like it when I wear a suit.
I don't mean that in a negative, I
I
mean
know you
that, I
didn't.
mean
I
that
was
as
just
it doesn't change their view on you one way or the other, is what I'm saying.
It doesn't.
All right. Who's Harrigan? Wastewater Services, why are they sending this to me?
Are we
Oh,
still?
I saw something in here
Yeah,
too.
we're
that
still in the
was
meeting.
To do with those, well, we're not doing the credit card thing tonight, you said, right?
No, I don't wanna get into that.
My one thing is, maybe in here you might wanna just mention the rec director's name, 'cause she's kind of a new hire too. I know you did that with the, fire captain and stuff.
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, that's a good point.
Not that,
Not to leave anybody out.
well, I'm just saying you did it with the fire captain. I don't, you know what I mean? She was new this year.
Yeah, you should put her
She's
in
just the
there.
main one. Maybe even if you wanted to do the clerk one too, but that's
Well,
up
if
to
you're gonna do
you.
that, we got a new assistant town clerk too.
Yeah. So
Those
why-
two,
I'm
those
not
two are
trying to
pretty,
make it-
those two are
No,
pretty,
that's,
those two are pretty,
Yeah, why don't you put in, we hired a new assistant town clerk.
those are the
Can I
two
have a
pretty
copy of
biggest
those?
ones that people
take that.
actually see on a
Well,
normal
I mean,
basis, you know
if we're
what I
gonna
mean?
do another one, we might as well do the other one, cause someone's gonna.
No, I'm okay with
Put all the new employees in, and then.
Maybe not like go down to the transfer
Hey.
station employees, but
The
the ones that you
question, because you're adding a little more, is somebody gonna proof this just to make sure there's no typos? I looked, it sounds okay now.
Yeah, Linda Smith will proof it, and then I'll have Diane proof
Yeah.
it for
see.
me.
I don't think you gotta go with
So we're
every
not
new
going as far as the
employee,
highway
but
department or the
bigger
transfer
ones, you
station
know?
or any employees there, right?
Well, who'd we hire at the highway department?
Pete's been here for more than a year.
Yeah,
he's
he's
been
been
in
there, but Joe, when did Joe come?
I mean, you could do that, and it's up to you. how
I'm
many
just
you wanna do.
asking.
It's how many, it's up to you, it doesn't
Doesn't make
matter,
any
I just,
difference to me.
I just figured the rec
You wanna
director,
say something about hiring Joe down at the transfer station?
Sure.
I just don't wanna leave anybody out and have hard feelings.
It would tickle him to death if he had his
I think-
name in.
well, usually Linda gets a picture from everybody down there. I know she used to do it with me and Steve, I don't know if she's
I
planning on
just
doing
don't
it
wanna
this
leave
year or not.
anybody out.
But
If,
she, no, I agree with you. It was just a thought that I was gonna mention the rec director, cause, you know,
Right.
a lot of people interact with her, same with her, but same with Joe too, a lot of people interact
we
with him
got the new
too.
lady on the planning side too,
Oh, Susan, yeah.
you know, if we're gonna do it. I don't wanna make it drama,
I'm
but
okay with listening to, I mean, people at least know their names, not that they're not a know a face.
Alright, you wanna get your picture?
Yeah, do you mind?
No, yeah.
He
I'll look
even
like,
tied his
Oh, wait,
shoes.
wait a minute, wait a
he
minute.
had to tie his shoe.
But you can finish a meeting if you want to, Scott.
oh yeah, let's finish the meeting, okay. Alright, so, you got a vision on your, what we need to do to finish that report.
Yep.
Okay, any more business come before the board? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned.